Long ago, in ancient China, there was a wise old man who lived in a small village on the outskirts of the city. People from far and wide would come to him seeking advice and guidance on various aspects of life. He was known for his wisdom and his ability to provide practical solutions to the problems faced by people. One day, a young man came to the old man seeking help. The young man was sad and dejected, and he wanted to know the secret of happiness. He said to the old man, "I am tired of feeling sad all the time. I want to be happy, but I don't know how." The wise old man smiled and said, "My son, sadness is a natural part of life. It is like the rain that falls from the sky. Just as the rain nourishes the earth, sadness nourishes the soul. Without sadness, we cannot appreciate the joys of life." The young man was puzzled by the old man's words. He asked, "But how can sadness nourish the soul? It only brings pain and misery." The old man replied, "Sadness is like a teacher. It teaches us the lessons of life. When we are sad, we learn to appreciate the good times. We learn to value the people who are dear to us. Sadness also teaches us the importance of patience and perseverance. Without sadness, we would never know what it means to be truly happy." The young man was impressed by the old man's words. He asked, "But how can I overcome my sadness? I feel so lost and alone." The old man smiled and said, "My son, the key to overcoming sadness is to accept it. Accept it as a part of life and do not fight it. Embrace your sadness, and it will become your ally. When you accept your sadness, you will find the strength to move forward. You will discover the courage to face the challenges of life." The young man was grateful for the old man's advice. He left the village feeling inspired and motivated. He realized that sadness was not his enemy, but his friend. He learned to accept his sadness and to use it as a stepping stone to happiness. As he journeyed through life, he faced many challenges and difficulties, but he always remembered the wise old man's words. He accepted his sadness and used it to become stronger and more resilient. He learned to appreciate the good times and to value the people who were dear to him. Years went by, and the young man grew old. One day, he returned to the village to seek the old man's advice once again. This time, he came with a heavy heart. He had lost his wife, his children, and his wealth. He felt as if life had dealt him a cruel blow, and he did not know how to go on. The wise old man looked at him with compassion and said, "My son, you have come to me seeking advice once again. What troubles you?" The old man listened as the young man poured out his heart. When he had finished, the old man said, "My son, I see that you are in pain. But remember, sadness is a natural part of life. It is like the rain that falls from the sky. Accept your sadness, and it will become your ally. Embrace your sadness, and it will give you the strength to move forward." The young man was amazed. He said, "But how can you be so calm and composed? You have lost nothing, and yet you seem to understand my pain." The old man smiled and said, "My son, I too have faced many challenges and difficulties in my life. I too have experienced sadness and pain. But I have learned to accept them as a part of life. I have learned to embrace them, and they have made me stronger and more resilient. Sadness is not our enemy, my son, but our ally. It teaches us the lessons of life and helps us to grow." The young man was deeply moved by the old man's words. He realized that the secret to happiness was not in avoiding sadness, but in accepting it. He learned to embrace his sadness and to use it as a tool for personal growth. Years went by, and the young man grew old. He became known throughout the land for his wisdom and his compassion. People would come to him seeking advice and guidance on various aspects of life. He would always listen with an open heart and provide practical solutions to their problems. The concept of yin and yang teaches us that everything in life is interconnected and interdependent. Just as day cannot exist without night, happiness cannot exist without sadness. We must learn to embrace both the light and dark aspects of life, for they are essential parts of the whole. The story of the young man and the wise old man teaches us the importance of embracing sadness as a natural and necessary part of life. Instead of running away from it, we should accept and acknowledge our sadness and use it as a tool for growth and self-discovery. Only by embracing all aspects of our experience can we find true balance and inner peace. So let us not fear sadness, but welcome it with open arms, knowing that it is part of the natural ebb and flow of life. And let us remember that even in the depths of our sadness, there is always a glimmer of hope, a ray of light that can guide us towards a brighter future.